Welcome in, everybody. This is the Golden Boot Podcast. What's going on? I am George Hancock. I'm joined tonight by Vandy Chris, none other than Mr. Propellerhead. I almost said Mr. Potato Head. Mr. Propellerhead himself. He's preparing for the snowpocalypse. I'm in the middle of it. It is currently 16 degrees outside right now, and with a wind chill of probably close to negatives. It is blisteringly cold. So that being said, we got a lot to talk about tonight. I appreciate everybody joining in. As the great Pat McAfee says, this show sucks, and the fact that you watch it, I love that line. It just makes it. Hey, thank you, Troy. I appreciate it. We will start the show. Absolutely. Thank you, Troy. As always, there's a banner down at the bottom, tells you some instructions there. Please like, share, follow this broadcast. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube. Dominic, what's up, man? Good to see you, my friend. Excuse me.
I like that. He has nothing better to do. So
nothing better to do, Troy says. Yeah, it means I have nothing better to do. Well, hey, and that's fine.
As Colin would say, our beautiful radio faces.
Yes. Our beautiful radio faces are present tonight. Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Well, we are as always absolutely just thrilled to be here. Fridays are always one of my favorite times. We are live right now on Instagram. We've been live on Instagram for a couple of weeks now. Getting used to it now. So anybody watching on Instagram, we appreciate you jumping in. That being said, we got a lot to do, so let's get into it tonight. Let's get into our icebreakers. All right, Chris, there's a lot to jump into.
Oh yes.
A lot to unpack. There's a lot of the coaching carousel going around, rumors flying around, you name it. We had three of the greatest college and NFL coaches retire all or get fired all in the same week. I don't even know how you even plan that. But it is what it is.
But really, one only got fired. The other one was a mutual parting of ways, and one was just a retirement.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's how you put it. I mean, that's what it came out as. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think that. Truth be told, in regards to Bill Belichick, which I'll go ahead and put this up here, the trophies speak to themselves. Bill was a master for the Patriots as far as defensive wise, offensive wise, what do you want to say? But we saw a change after Tom Brady was gone. We saw that happen. It just wasn't the same team. It wasn't the same drive, the same fire. And people say, well, that means Bill Belichick wasn't really the one that, had a play in those parts. Well, I don't think that. I don't think that at all. I honestly think it's just because Tom Brady, because before it was Drew Bledsoe, right? Then he had the horrific, was it a hip injury, pelvis injury? I can't remember exactly what happened.
Had the injury.
Yeah.
And a little known 6th-round draft pick come in.
Yeah, right. 6th-round draft pick, bottom of the barrel, scraping down it, to just trying to get by. And he ends up getting them 7 Super Bowls.
He hasn't won 7 Super Bowls yet, but it reminds me of another current player that everybody wrote off as a nobody, and currently is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, and who is that?
Brock Purdy.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant. Brock Purdy is doing really, really good in San Francisco. We'll get to more of the NFL a little later because we'll talk wild card weekend and stuff like that. But to say that this man was not a legend, I had people say, well, it was Tom Brady that really was the deal. That's why, they've agreed to mutually part ways and, all that good stuff. And I'm like, I hear you, but honestly, and it's nothing against Bill. But I feel like there was a little bit of jet lag from the Tom Brady years.
I just think he's ready to. I think he's done. I don't think he's going to coach anymore. I can tell you this: he does make the rounds as an analyst with a multitude of college football teams.
Yeah.
So I think he can make bank doing that. I don't think he's going to coach anymore.
Yeah. Well, and it remains to be seen. But for the Patriots and anybody that watched College Football Dogs last night, I said it. The Patriots need a fresh start. They need to finally turn the page from the Tom Brady years and just completely start with a blank slate. Yeah. You've kind of kept everything in place, almost like, I hate to say this, almost like when a loved one dies and nobody wants to get rid of anything. They have pictures still up in the house and stuff. It's time to get it out and done and over with. Over with it. And Dominic makes a really good point. Is Mayo a fresh start? Now, I wasn't going to go there yet, but Mayo being the new head coach for the New England Patriots was a major surprise for me. And I would say that's about as fresh as you can get on a fresh start. Now, if it were, does it work? That remains to be seen. But you talking polar opposites. That's a big deal there. Go ahead, Chris.
So I am blessed in the Nashville radio market with some really, really good radio programming, sports-wise.
Sure.
In the mornings on my way to work, I get to listen to a show called RKW.
Right.
Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will. And I'm not going to go into his last name because he's a Tennessee guy too. But so is Ramon Foster. He was Gerard Mayo's roommate in college.
Yeah.
So last night, Ramon Foster, Inky Johnson, if you know who Inky Johnson is, that he's a pretty major guy. He's a speaker that, I don't know how you put it. I'm looking for the word, inspirational speaker.
Sure.
They all got together last night and had Gerard Mayo on video call. These are Gerard Mayo's inner people, his innermost trusted circle. They knew last night that he was getting a job.
Wow. Really?
And according to Ramon Foster, it's been known for 2 years that this would happen. That he was a head coach in waiting, so to speak, and that when Bill decided it was over, Gerard Mayo was getting a job. So I think it's a fresh start. I also think if he doesn't take a year off to regroup, I think Mike Vrabel ends up being a defensive coordinator there. I think that's as fresh a start as you can get.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I there's no doubt about it. And by the way, I'm not saying I hate the hire. That's not. It just surprised me. I didn't expect him to make a hire so fast, number one. So evidently they had already had Gerard Mayo in mind. But
like I said, according to Ramon Foster, it's been known for 2 years.
Yeah. Dominic says, I think Vrabel to Seattle. That's a possibility.
That's a possibility. But you're going from one situation with a mangled quarterback mess and just getting over the cap space to a situation where you've got a mangled quarterback mess and not much else.
Yeah.
So is that really something Vrabel can fix? Because he couldn't fix it in Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah. That brings up a whole nother deal. Because I haven't even thought about who's going to take over Seattle, because how do you
kind of an afterthought, ain't it?
It is, but how do you fill Pete Carroll's shoes?
You don't.
No, you don't. And I'm wondering if Seattle goes the same way and does a fresh start there. Because I mean, Pete Carroll was a staple and a legend. We haven't even got into that yet, but you know, Pete Carroll announced he's out at Seattle. And some people think he's going to keep coaching. I mean, he's the same age as Saban, so it would not surprise me, because Pete Carroll is very young at heart, and he loves to coach. I mean, I don't know what he's going to do. He's not a broadcaster at all. Gino was regenerated. Oh, Pete was shown the back door. Okay.
Nice.
Preston, appreciate you joining us from Twitter, man.
Yes. We're seeing Gino Twitter Smith comments tonight.
Yeah, thank God. About time we can actually see them. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Geno Smith, I think I read something somewhere where it felt like him and Pete Carroll didn't see eye to eye on a few things. You know, even when he was given the starting job, it was kind of a love-hate relationship. Didn't work out real well. You back them into a corner, they're going to say they love each other and there was no bad blood. But you know, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there was enough smoke there. I think there was some kind of spark at least. But you know, how do you walk into Seattle without there being a fresh start? Because you can't fill a legend like Pete Carroll's shoes. I mean, you can't. Same as you can't fill Nick Saban's shoes.
Who's ever going to Seattle must have a plan, because
have to.
Of all the jobs that are available, I think Chicago is probably the murkiest. Well, Chicago's keeping their coach. They announced that the other day. But
you mean Eberflus? They're keeping Eberflus.
Yeah, they're keeping him. But of the jobs that are available, the Chargers, the Seahawks, the Falcons, the Titans, the one that's got the worst outlook is probably Seattle right now.
That actually is not a bad take. Seattle, in my opinion, probably has the most work to do.
Yes.
It's the most rebuild out of everything, because the Patriots have a defense. That's the thing. They have to rebrand and refurbish and reset their offense. Their defense is going to be it was good this year, and is going to continue to be good, in my opinion. But Seattle's just question marks. It was up and down season. Geno Smith had some really good moments. There's a lot of questions. Is Geno going to be the guy? We'll see. But it,
I think of those jobs, the most underrated is probably the Titans.
Underrated.
You got your quarterback of the future. You've got your running back of the future. You've got some young guys on defense making plays.
Yeah.
You know what the fix is. That's the offensive line.
Right.
You have a high draft pick at number 7.
Yeah.
And you have $71 million in cap space, most in the NFL.
Right.
Somebody's walking into a gold mine.
Yeah, I would say Tennessee is probably a good bet. Just a quick look at Pete Carroll's 14 years as head coach of the Seahawks. Made the playoffs 10 times, won NFC West 5 times, 2 NFC championships, won the Super Bowl, went 147, 98, and 1. Pretty remarkable career by Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. So
Dominic corrected me. He says the Commanders have the most cap space.
Commanders do have the most cap space, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I've been hearing that the Titans had it with $71 million, but
Green Bay's not far behind either because they haven't spent hardly any of it. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. You walking into these jobs with cap space with players already in place that are young and developing. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty nice situation to walk into.
Yeah. Commanders, he said they are 1 and 2. So there you go. Tennessee and Washington are 1 and 2. Yeah. I just those 2 coaches in the NFL are really going to be hard to follow in legacy. Their legacies, they'll be Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about it. They're Hall of Fame coaches.
Yes.
And to walk into that, I think you said something last night where it's usually, especially in the NFL, it's not the coach that follows the Hall of Fame head coach that's successful. It's the one that follows after.
That's more true in college football than it is pro football.
Yeah, well, there you go. College is probably the best stance for it. So, and so Pete Carroll, and Bill Belichick, and then you have the bombshell of all bombshells in Nick Saban retiring. We called. Now here's the thing.
We've been talking about it all year.
I don't want to toot our own horn. Okay. But if you've watched the boot from the beginning, we said I think it was the first episode, maybe the second, somewhere like that. We all thought Nick Saban's going to hang it up. We all thought that. Now, we didn't put money on it. We didn't go on Twitter and say, we're putting this out here because we think such and such, whatever. It's not like we have a crystal ball or an insider information or whatever, but based on what he was saying in press conference, based off what his actions were and how he was doing and moving and all this, it wasn't Nick Saban of old. It was a Nick Saban that looked like he was trying to get by, trying to use what he had, get through this next season, and go on. And I know you can say what you want. Well, Alabama always goes after championships. You're right. But there wasn't that fire that we've seen in Nick Saban years past. There wasn't the love of coaching that he had.
Now, what I will say is I think he saved his best for last.
Yeah.
Because that offensive line was not good.
No.
And for him to get that team into the college football playoffs and be in the thick of winning the game at the end, that to me was the best coaching job that he's ever done.
Yeah. And this is a quick look at the career of Nick Saban all the way from college to the NFL. Toledo Rockets, Michigan State. Of course, he played. He was head coach of the Miami Dolphins, which was a abysmal
Disaster
deal there.
Well,
disaster.
It was only a disaster because they missed out on Drew Brees.
Yeah, I think that's that's a fair.
If he gets Drew
take.
Brees, that ends differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course we know he went to LSU and helped turn that thing around, and then of course everyone knows what he's done in Alabama. 7, is it 6 national champions or 7? I think it's 7 national championships, right? 7.
I think 6 at Alabama and 7 overall.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's what it is. It's 7 overall because he was tied with Bear Bryant. He's got 7. That's right. Paul Bear Bryant Award 2003, 2020, Walter Camp Coach of the Year. I mean, the accolades speak for himself. To argue, I've talked to people, I've had discussions with people. You cannot say without in Chris, you're not one of these dim-witted idiots that I've had conversations with, but they want to argue with me. Well, Nick Saban's not the GOAT. Nick Saban isn't the greatest college coach to ever play the game or to in recent, and I'll say in the last 15 years. You're going to tell me there's another coach that, oh yeah, there's another coach that's better. Somebody tried to tell me Kirby Smart's the more of a GOAT than Nick Saban, and I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Just stop. Just stop. So the accolades, the championships speak for themselves. Anybody that thinks Kirby Smart is better than Nick Saban, just because of Kirby Smart's recent success, stop. The guy is the greatest. Go ahead, Chris.
So I'm going to preface this a little bit.
Yeah.
In the modern era, he is the greatest college football coach.
Yeah.
Now, to say all time, that's a huge debate because now you're opening the door to Newt Rockne, Eric Parsegian,
right?
You know, some of these guys from the 1940s and 50s, which college football was different then. Right. I get that. But in the modern area of college football, there's no one comes close.
No, and there's
maybe
there's not.
I think Pete Carroll is a solid second.
Yeah,
Joe Pa a solid third. But in the modern era, nobody's better than Nick Saban.
No, and there's a lot of controversy and a lot of talk about how he got there and what he did and why he's hanging it up, which rumors. So, I know it was said that, Miss Terry was having some issues or whatever. Well, then somebody point blank asked him that, and he said, no, we're fine. She's fine. So it's just my opinion, but go ahead. Chris.
But remember, Nick Saban's that guy. He's not going to talk about stuff that he don't want to talk about. And that's going to be his answer. It's fine.
True. Yep.
But there was a social media post by a family member that stated that Miss Terry did have health problems.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not that played into his retirement, she wasn't certain.
Yeah.
And you notice I'm talking about a she.
Yeah, right.
That would have direct knowledge of it.
Yeah.
Would be Nick Saban's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a social media post where she said that there were issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
and trust me, I hear you there. Until, of course, I think it was a multitude of factors. I don't think it was any one specific thing. I know what helped it. And I know for me, watching Nick Saban, because, I mean, I've been an Arkansas fan forever, and Arkansas has never beat Nick Saban. So I feel like I've kind of watched the guy practically my entire career, my entire childhood, whatever. And these last couple years, starting with which was it, 2019 when NIL was implemented?
No, it was 2 years ago.
It's 2 years ago.
21.
Right.
Yeah.
20, yeah. That's right. I got my years mixed up.
Actually 22 because the court case came down in July
22, right, because Texas A&M had the number one recruiting class that year.
Yeah.
That's right. That year, 22 and 23, and I know, I know Alabama had success those years. That's fine. But those 2 years is where, starting in 22. Well, actually, 21 was good. 21 was really good for Alabama. But 22, it just seemed like something was different. And I'm not saying that, Nick isn't the greatest, or Nick, to discount the fact, that he wasn't trying or anything. It just simply looked like something was different.
Yes.
And it took me a while to kind of compact and figure out things. But we know 100% that he didn't really like the NIL format. He didn't like the transfer portal. He wasn't a fan of that. And thank you. Saban was the best. Yeah, we all see how Texas A&M turned out. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, right? I mean, he was vocal about it, and he didn't change his tactics. He didn't change anything. But the reality is this: we watched before NIL and the transfer portal was implemented, that you had 4 and 5 star, most of the time it was 5-star kids committing to the University of Alabama and being perfectly fine with sitting for 2 or 3 years on the bench to get a chance to play as a junior at the University of Alabama for a championship. They were fine with that. Didn't matter. They could go any school in the country because you're because you're a high 5-star. You chose Alabama. You sat on the bench behind the starters and you waited your turn.
Mm-hmm.
The transfer portal came in. Yeah, you developed. The transfer portal opened. All that changed. All of it changed. Mm-hmm. You didn't have that depth. Because remember, and this is a key thing. I was thinking about this today. When's the last time you saw in the last few years Alabama put all of their starters on special teams to block a punt or block a kick? It's been a long time since we've seen that. Mm-hmm. Because they don't have that depth they used to. They don't have all those 5-star guys that are sitting on the bench waiting for their chance. And that's a big blow to how, Saban was able to have the success he had. But on top of that, I said it last night, and I've said it to you on our personal phone conversations. I'm telling you now. Adeline says, "Hi, I love your podcast." Hey, thank you.
Okay.
Got a YouTube comment. So
with the rose.
I know, with a rose. I love it. But with NIL, because I don't know if you've seen it or not, but on ESPN they had a interview. It was a great interview with Nick Saban, and they point blank asked him, "Hey, give us your spiel. What is your pitch when you walk in the door to a recruit's house after you get off a helicopter or whatever, you go see him? What is your pitch?" And I can't remember the exact pitch. It's fantastic. But it talks about history, it talks about tradition, it talks about how many players are in the NFL, how many players have been developed, talks about all this kind of stuff. And then and you could be a part of that too. So commit to the University of Alabama. Come come to Tuscaloosa and, whatever. And it just like it juiced you up. Like I was never an Alabama fan, but to hear that from the greatest to do it in modern history was fantastic. But I think, and I don't think he'll ever admit this, but I think he got real sick and tired of giving his pitch that he's gave for 10, 15 years. And for kids to go, yeah, coach, I know all about the history, the tradition. I know all about the championships, all that stuff. But how much money can you make me? That is it. Yeah. That's a gut punch. Because to me, none of your story, none of your history, none of your accomplishments matter anymore because of NIL. All of the history, tradition of the program, modern kids that didn't grow up in that area, they don't care. They don't care anymore. And that is where college football, in my opinion, the NIL, especially NIL, has killed college football. And something has to be done to fix it.
So I do want to address one comment here.
Go for it.
Our friend over at the Loyal BBN show, NIL and the transfer portal leveled the playing field. Well, let me tell you something, what this is going to turn into.
Yeah.
Okay. In baseball, in college baseball, you have 11.7 scholarships.
Yeah.
Spread out among 28 players.
Yeah.
On a 35-man roster.
Yep.
So coaches started telling their players, hey, go after different scholarships other than the athletic scholarship to help you out a little.
Mm-hmm.
And then schools were allowed to give financial aid to students that didn't qualify financially.
Yeah.
And what that turned into was 90% of college baseball fans crying, literally crying, because Vanderbilt had more money that they could dump into their baseball scholarship and Opportunity Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And that how it was an unfair advantage. Now, let me tell you what's going to happen in football.
Yeah.
The same dadgum thing.
Yep.
The teams with the money that can dump into scholarship funds are the teams that are going to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was it an unfair advantage that Vanderbilt had? No. Was it an advantage? Oh, definitely. Because we were able to get some players in that didn't qualify financially, and it made a difference.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. But this comment here, it's all about the almighty dollar.
Yep.
I can't argue with that now. I thought, this NIL is good because the kids will actually be able to earn something. But then when Texas A&M took it too far and started paying nearly $1 million for players that never saw the field, didn't even see the field yet. It was just because of what they did in high school. It spiraled out of control. And now, no shots towards Missouri, but I'm in Missouri. Mizzou is killing it in recruiting right now because they passed a bill here in this state.
Yes,
as
sir.
soon as you sign that national letter of intent, guess what? You can start earning this. So they started pulling kids from all over some states. Arkansas, Courtney Crutchfield is now in Missouri because of it.
Tennessee went a step farther than that.
Did they? What'd they do?
High school players can make NIL at the high school level in Tennessee.
Wow. Where's it end? Are they start playing potential players in elementary school?
And when I say that, your local AutoZone down the street can pay a high school player now to do an advertisement for them.
Wow. I mean, that's great. It sounds awesome. It sounds like that should be a good thing. But the problem is history, tradition, your facilities, how many championships you've won, all your commitment, none of that matters anymore. None of it.
So here's one thing I loved about it this year. Okay. There's 2 programs in Nashville. Well, one's just outside of Nashville in Brentwood, Brentwood Academy.
Yeah.
Used to be a well-known football powerhouse nationally.
Okay, that's
so
funny. Hang on, hold that thought. Gerard should shell his own brand of mayo at Patriots games. Appreciate that, Ryan. That's
clever.
Yeah. I mean, he'd make a boatload of money, although he's probably making a boatload of money. I don't know what his contract is, but I'm sure the Patriots are not paying him cheap.
Rich. It's rich. Yeah. It's more than we make.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But what it turns into, you done made me lose my train of thought.
Yeah. Sorry. You said something you liked about
Brentwood Academy.
Year. Yeah.
Brentwood Academy. So they had some local businesses step up to start paying NIL.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in 4 5-star rated athletes to play on their football team.
Mm-hmm.
They went 1-9.
Lord.
Another program, Lipscomb Academy, is affectionately known as the Rent-A-Player program in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Started by Trent Dilfer.
Yeah.
Where he went out and got a bunch of California kids and brought them to Nashville to play. Well, then he took the UAB job, and an NFL Hall of Famer took over in Kevin Mawe.
Yeah.
They went 3-6 and missed the playoffs, and he got fired after year 1.
Yeah.
Rent-A-player programs don't work in high school football.
Yeah. It doesn't, and it doesn't work in college either. We saw Texas A&M try it; it didn't work. And my fear, the greatest fear of NIL, was a straight up reality when Texas A&M opened the bank and got the number 1 recruiting class for the first time ever. How many of those kids stayed? Number 1, and did they do anything that year? Because I'm pretty sure they went 5-7. Right. And there wasn't a whole lot of effort on the field either.
No, they just wanted their bag so they could get out of there. Yeah,
that's the problem. A ring is useless, but a bag full of money speaks volumes. Yeah, it's crazy. It's college football, and we'll end on this. And we'll take a break real quick. But college football has turned into. I don't want to say it. It's turned into.
Say it.
I don't want to say it.
Say it.
It's turned into an amateur league. It's turned into your minor league. That's there it is. There it is. It's turned into your minor league. I mean, I hate to say it. I hate to say it. But because of NIL,
some of us saw this coming.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, we definitely did. It just.
By the way, I'm having fun with this new mic.
It's good, isn't it? I told you you'd like it. Good.
I might take this fuzzy little thing off and show my Vanderbilt colors there.
I mean, you can, but then everybody will hear shh, because that's what it's for. Yes, Troy, we're still on. Thank you. Your attempt to sabotage us to not be on is thwarted, sir. Let's real quick. Let's take a quick break.
Bills and earn some money.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll take a quick break. Yeah, right. We're going to thank our sponsors real quick. We'll be right back on the Golden Boot Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing in a new roommate to save money, is that the plan?
Well, we gotta find some way to save, so say hi to Glenn from work.
Hey, that's my mom.
Yeah, I think I have a much better plan. We switched to my plan from Verizon for just $25 per line.
And that price is guaranteed for 3 years.
All on the network we can count on.
It's a good plan.
It is a good plan. Glenn, looks like we're not gonna be needing you, so I'll see you at work.
Oh, later, Mom.
Save big with my plan, starting at just $25 when you bring your own phones. Guaranteed for 3 years. It's your...
Yo, what's going on? This is Jacob Hester, former LSU running back, here to tell you about a brand new college football podcast, the Golden Boot Podcast. Give it a listen, give it a try, give it a follow. They're going to work hard to be your new favorite podcast.
You're listening to the Golden Boot Podcast. Stay golden.
All right, welcome back to the Golden Boot Podcast. My clicker didn't work on that last one, but you know, hey, we're running right through this. I think it's finally time. I mean, we've talked coaches, we've talked NIL. Let's get into some gridiron. There's a lot to unpack this week. All right, first on the agenda, we had the national championship. And if you watched right here on College Football Dawgs or on the Golden Sports Network, we did a live broadcast. It was a lot of fun. We appreciate everybody jumping in, watching. It was great. This game was good. It didn't go the way I anticipated for numerous reasons, but you know. It was good. That's about all I can say about it. It's I don't know. It could have been better. Not because the SEC wasn't in it or anything like that. Like I'm not that kind of person, but it could have been better. There was I don't want to say fixed or anything. There was a lot of missed calls in this one that went towards a certain team's favor. It's not fun when that happens. Well, you know, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It just makes it not fun. But hey, it's just what it is. And by the way, of course, it says Huck the Fuskies lost their coach today. Yeah, we didn't talk about it. Alabama hired Kalen DeBoer as the new Alabama head coach today.
They lost their future quarterback too.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very, very true. That was a bit of a shock, actually, because
I will discuss that one later.
Yeah, we'll bring that up a little bit. But Kalen DeBoer leaves Washington after being the runner-up in the national championship to become Alabama's head coach. So let's break this game down. Michigan-Washington. Michigan won first time since 97. I know they split that one, but 34-13 was the final score. It was just it looked like for a minute there we were going to have another Georgia blowout in the first quarter. I mean, we all looked at each other and was just like, man, this is rough. I think they had over 200 rushing yards in the first half. And I thought, well, that's it. Washington run defense is going to be their Achilles heel. And they stepped up and stopped the run game, and then J.J. McCarthy made just enough plays to keep him still in it and keep going and keep the foot on the gas. But if you look here, you got 443 total yards to 301. I mean, it was a low yardage ball game, really. It was kind of surprising. 255 passing yards to 140. J.J. McCarthy didn't have to do very much in this one, not at all, because rushing yards. This is the huge difference. 303 rushing yards to 46. My goodness, that is just a beatdown of epic proportions as far as that goes. Third down percentage was awful for both teams, and that was because both defenses were doing enough to keep them at bay on third down. It didn't help. It was too little too late for Washington. But, you know, is what it is. Penalties was non-factor except for some non-calls in very crucial moments. 17 first downs, 16 first downs. Washington had 2 turnovers. That was just not good. We all know that when you win the turnover battle, that usually that means you win. Go ahead, Chris.
The turnovers for me was the difference in the game. Also, Michael Penix was off all night, overthrowing his receivers, something you didn't see all year.
Yep.
But that first half, when it was 17-3, you got to keep that in perspective. Because Washington had 2 plays defended well.
Yeah.
And had a guy that made a play with his athletic ability on his own.
Yeah. Right.
Where he was bottled up and he came out of the pile and went a different direction. And while everybody's trying to unpile from where they had him bottled up, he's gone.
Yeah.
And that was 80 yards rushing right there on 2 plays that I think it made the rushing yards a little bit skewed.
Yeah.
And I think it made the game look a whole lot different than it actually was.
Right. Yeah, and I want to encourage everyone as we break this game down. If you're just joining us, leave a comment. We want to know where you're watching from, what team you support, what how you found us. I know that there's some friends of ours in here tonight. But if you're just joining, leave a comment. We want to hear from you. We want to let us know how you thought the game went. Let us know if you like the outcome, don't like the outcome. I know Mike Germanese is in here. He loves this outcome. But just want to remind everyone, we love the comments. We love questions. If you guys want to ask us a question, we'll do our best to answer it. Although we're just a couple of guys that love talking football. We're not experts at all. But we
I'll go another way. I'll go another way on this. Games. Yeah. I'm a firm believer games are won and lost in the last 5 minutes of the first half and the first 5 minutes of the second half. And
not a bad take. Yeah.
Washington was able to close the gap a little bit in the last 5 minutes of the first half. But then in the second half, when they come out and the first play, they throw an interception.
Yep.
That
very first play of the second half, man.
That set the tone for the second half that what they had wasn't going to be enough.
Yep. Yeah. The 2 things, and it's not on a graphic, but the 2 things that I absolutely look at here is the turnovers and the rushing yards. But one thing that's not here in front of us is the battle of the trenches, right? The line of scrimmage, and Michigan dominated on both sides of the ball.
That was something they did. That was something they did all year too. Is just dominate the line of scrimmage all year.
And didn't matter who they played. So hats off to Michigan as they take home the 2023 national championship. And there's all kinds of rumors floating around now about Jim Harbaugh. Is he staying? Is he going? And I mean, we seem to think he's going. I know I do.
I think he's
because I think so too. I think and I'm not saying that there's any guilt there or anybody has said, but the looming potential NCAA hammer that is going to come down on Michigan is a little unsettling for Harbaugh, and I think he was looking to go to the NFL anyway. So I don't think he stays. I think he's gone, and I think he either goes to the Chargers or the Raiders. But we'll see. So rumor has it he was looking at property in California through, I guess, his agent or his assistant or somebody. So we'll see. More to come there.
So Dominic brings up a good question.
Yeah, what was that? I saw it. I didn't put it up there.
Wild thought. Does Pete Carroll go to Washington and take over for DeBoer since he's already in Washington?
I don't know. It sounds like a neat idea. I don't think that would happen. I mean, Pete Carroll, being Pete Carroll and wanting to be as unpredictable as possible, that's about as unpredictable as you can get, him taking the Washington job. But
yeah,
I would say no. I would say, if anything, I don't know, man. 72 years old. I'm not Pete Carroll, but I wouldn't want to start over. I wouldn't want to start in college again. I mean, that's just because there's going to be recoil from Kalen DeBoer leaving. There's going to be players entering the portal, and college is different.
There already
college is way different than when Pete was in it before.
Yeah,
and that's a whole lot getting used to. So no, I do not think Pete would do that. But it's a wild thought. It's good. It's a good thought. It's definitely something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's not the only thing on the gridiron we need to talk about. It is finally playoffs. It is the playoff. It's finally NFL playoffs. And boy, oh boy. Huh?
There's only one game I'm looking forward to.
Oh, really? Well,
yes.
I'm going to pull them all up here. Which one are you looking forward to?
So this afternoon, the governor of New York declared a state of emergency in Western New York.
Yep.
On Sunday, they're expecting a foot of snow or more, whiteout conditions, a blizzard warning, and 65-mile-an-hour winds. I'm looking forward to Buffalo and Pittsburgh in the snow and battling it out. And guys hitting that frozen turf in the snow. And, man, bring me some snow football. I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, and there's supposed to be weather moving in Kansas City, too, and it's supposed to be bone-chilling cold. The high here in Missouri
6 below.
is 6 degrees. The high is 6 degrees.
Below.
No. No. The high is 6 degrees. By game time, because it's at 8 o'clock at night, it would be 6 below. You're right. But no, the high, all day is supposed to be 6 degrees here. Matter of fact, I can look it up because it's 6 degrees. Kansas City might be a little different. Let me look it up real quick here. Are you guys excited about the playoffs? Put in the comments if you're excited about NFL playoffs. I know I am. I'm ready. I'm ready. It is Sunbelt Syndicate. Dominic says football weather, baby. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Playoffs. I mean, you got to have it, man. And
The only thing better than a snow game is a
Yeah.
rain where there's puddles of water on the field and the guy gets tackled and he gets, his whole jersey's covered in
My
mud and you got the clump
goodness.
of dirt in your face mask.
Yeah.
Come on. Bring me
So Kansas City's high on Sunday. You ready for it? 0.
some-
0 degrees is Kansas City's high on Sunday, with a low of -2. By game time, the temperature is supposed to be 0, and the wind is supposed to be 10 to 15 miles an hour. Ugh.
Nice.
I am really glad I'm not in Kansas City. Here it's supposed to be 6. It may have dropped a little bit. Because Kansas City's about 2.5 hours from me. But 0. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
That's going to be one of them games. You watch the NFL films of the old time games.
Oh yeah.
And they show the
about the
offensive
Ice Bowl.
lineman. They show the offensive lineman sitting on the bench, and the steam just pouring off of their bodies and their uniforms and everything.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like an Ice Bowl game to me. Is what that sounds like. Sounds like an Ice Bowl game.
Hey.
Oh my goodness! What? We got. Who's this stranger popping in here?
I don't know.
Who's this?
I don't know
Who's this guy? Jay Johnson.
Okay.
He's back.
What's up, buddy?
He's back. What's up, buddy?
Back.
How you doing?
Hey, we were just talking about some playoff football. Is what we were just
yes,
discussing.
very excited. Man, this weekend's got some great games.
This is an older graphic, but I think it's what is this on Sunday? It's the Steelers in Buffalo, and then it's Kansas City and Miami, right? On tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah. So, they play tomorrow. Never mind then. Tomorrow is not 0 degrees. Tomorrow is 5 degrees in Kansas City.
Oof.
Never mind.
Well, it's a little bit better.
0 degrees on Sunday. Yeah, a little. Yeah, right. 5 degrees is going to make a huge difference. It's not.
So I want to get Cody's thoughts. I want to get Cody's thoughts on that. Cody don't know nothing about this. He's a Southern boy. He's always been granted the sunshine weather for football.
Hey.
I want to hear Cody. I want to hear Cody's take on 65-mile-an-hour winds, a foot of snow, blizzard warning, whiteout conditions at kickoff.
Oh, I can do this. I survived the blizzard of '93. We had 3 feet of snow in Alabama. That was the last time we had a lot of snow in my lifetime. But no, that sucks. So when I played football, I remember that my dad bought me one of the Under Armour shirts when Under Armour was first getting popular. He said, "Hey, you're gonna be cold and you're gonna be shaking out there, but watch." He's like, "I got this shirt for you." It was like when they first came out, the heat resistant ones. And let me tell you something. I was the coolest kid on the football team when I got that thing. Because put that thing on and I started sweating. I wish that was finished, Troy. I wish it was finished. I did start on it though, and I think you're gonna like what I got for you.
Good,
but no. So yeah, the coldest conditions I ever actually played in was 27 degrees, I want to say, and I thought that was hell. And then after my knee injury and my neck injury that ended my football career, I was I played saxophone, and I was in the band. And I remember we had a in high school it was a playoff game, and I had more school spirit than probably anybody. I always wanted to see my school win. And now Clay Shuffle's like the creme de la creme. Well, this is the one time where I was pulling for them to lose because it was like 18 degrees out. The winds it was like 30 plus mile an hour winds, and sitting in those stands sucked.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so here's a kicker though. I had staph infection in my nose and didn't know it. And my nose was swollen up, and I just started feeling bad throughout the game. And I'm just sitting like this. And I'll never forget, we were playing against Vestavia Hills, and I was like, let's go Rebels. Let's go. And they ended up beating us by like a field goal. And I'd never been so bad in my life. But no, I couldn't imagine. So, I mean, obviously the NFL, it's easier because, they're going to have the heaters on the sidelines and everything.
Oh, yeah.
They will have that to help them out. But, man, when you're on that field, I mean, even moving around, it doesn't matter. You're going to be cold.
It doesn't matter.
It hurts.
I'm surprised, and maybe they have, but you would think that, like for receivers, for example, you would think that they would have already invented some kind of heat glove for them, like for while they're playing, like the top of the hands or something be heated.
Mm-hmm.
And if they haven't invented that, then I came up with it, or the boot came up with it, and we want to roll because I think that would be a great idea. I saw degrees, which later became a warm day at Washington State. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, I played a little bit of high school football in South Dakota.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to it.
Wait, what position did you play?
I played defensive end,
and
I was scrawny as a rail. I don't know why they put me at DN. 6 foot. Okay. You might as well say 6 foot. They said I was 6'1" in high school. I was 6'1". I was 6 foot. Matter of fact, I think I'm 5'11" and a half. I don't think God gave me a half inch to be 6 foot, but everybody rounds up. So, no, I'm right at 6 foot. But I was like, I'm a big boy now. I was skinny as a rail, like a bean pole in high school.
What happened to you?
And she wanted too much food, too much yummy food that my wife makes me,
Shout out.
Or going out to eat, stuff like that.
Wait,
but
you let Sarah eat them because she's clearly very skinny.
Oh shoot, she'd tell you all that. No, I'm not. I'm fat. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm fat. No, she's not. She's absolutely.
You better not repeat that. She hears that. She's gonna punch you in the head for saying.
No, she won't. She knows. She says it. She'd admit that she says that all the time, and I tell her, "Stop. You are not."
Yeah,
yes, I am. I had 2 kids. Now I'm so fat. Me. That's just what she says. But it is what it is. No, I remember this specific game in high school, and I played it was either defensive end. For some reason, they put me in as a defensive tackle. Now, I was probably, I don't know, maybe barely 200 pounds, and I mean barely.
Yeah.
I might have been 190 in high school, and like straight up just a beanpole. I didn't go to the gym hardly at all. Like, they wanted me to lift weights. I could do it, and I was strong enough, but it was like, I'm not a D end or a tackle or whatever. So this one particular night we were at home, and it was a Friday night, and we had like a winter system coming in, and in South Dakota it was like, oh great, here we go. Means the snow fences are up, and we'll have to get home quick and before a blizzard hits. And it wasn't a blizzard. It wasn't supposed to be a blizzard. Well, sitting there, and I'm looking up in the sky, and I was standing because it was so cold. It was 4 degrees. I remember, I'll never forget this. It was 4 degrees, and the wind chill was -15 because it was 22 mile an hour winds.
Mm.
And it was just cold. We didn't have heaters. We had metal. Literally, they would bring out these metal bench seats, and they were portable. They would take them off of the track, set them down, and that's where we sat. And they were straight up aluminum. I mean, and it was cold. It was just, so we all just stood shoulder to shoulder together. And then somebody would start doing jumping jacks. And so we'd all just start doing jumping jacks to stay warm.
Hey, I do what you got to do, man.
So I heard this noise and I'm like, what is that noise? And it was like what the frick is that? And I look up and it starts lightning. And I mean and snow starts falling. And we literally had thunder snow. We had thunder snow.
Yes.
But I was like, what? And they're like, oh, yeah, it happens. It's not happened in a long time. I'm like, what the heck is thunder snow? So I'm like, okay, it's thunder snowing. So literally they put us in a delay because there's lightning in the area in freaking whatever. I don't even remember what month it was. It was in like end of September, November, somewhere like that.
Jeez.
And oh God, it was so cold. And so they go, everybody needs to get in the tunnel. Well, the tunnel was colder because the wind was just coming straight through. Dude, I about froze to death. To death.
Yeah.
Like jumping them down, huddling together. Like it was horrible. And to make matters worse, it got so cold, half the people went home. So when they did resume play, it was like 30-minute rain weather delay. So we're standing in the stupid tunnel, freezing to death for 30 minutes. We come out of the tunnel, and it was like, I don't know, it was like in the second quarter. And the other team was supposed to kick off. So they put in our kick returner, and the very next play, kickoff, he catches the ball, comes out for a stiff arm, and gets hit right here, and it bends his wrist all the way back and snaps it. Play ends. They have to bring an ambulance on the field, take him to the hospital. So guess what? We're standing there freezing again. And it took them another 30 minutes to get him off the field. By the time it was done, I was chattering. My fingers were blue. Like I was so cold. And I don't even remember how we finished that ball game. But it was awful. So sure, football weather is football weather. But when you go to a cheap school that doesn't give you any kind of layers, and doesn't, I was in full pads. I couldn't put on a coat. It was terrible.
Oh, speaking of coach,
awful.
I'll bring back a memory for you. So I played football on our freshman team.
Yeah.
Our season was done, so I became an equipment manager for the varsity team, so I could be around them. So last game of the season, first week in November, the rain-snow mix. And both of you have heard of this school. We were playing at Carroll Stadium in Carroll, Iowa.
Yes.
Against Carroll Kemper High School.
Okay.
It's raining. It's 28 degrees. And it's been raining for 2 or 3 hours. The field is a soggy mess. And the rain is changing over to snow during the game.
My gosh.
Okay. Do you remember the old jackets that schools used to provide you that go over your pads and over your helmet and have no sleeves?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't stay warm in them. I don't care what you do. Our whole team was standing there.
Not at all. It was awful.
Our quarterback is
awful,
our punter, and he gets off a state record in this snow rain game on this soggy field. Kicks a state record 72-yard punt.
Wow.
How?
It went about 30 yards and hit the ground, and when it hit the ground, it just sailed. It was
you know what's absolutely hilarious about that is the same game that I was talking about. We had a guy by the name of Arnell. He's a big old tall. He was like 6'6", dude, and for some reason they put him in as a punter.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me why. I don't know. He was jacked. He could have been a defensive end. He could have been a lineman. He could have been anything. He'd been a tight end, run over anybody. They made this boy a punter. because apparently he was the only one that could kick the ball. And so he literally took a snap in this very cold game, and I'm kidding you not. He kicked that ball, and it disappeared because it literally went straight through all the linemen, right through, and it was like a 65-yard punt because it went missed every player. I don't know how it missed. I don't know how. It literally went through the line of scrimmage. Both teams bounced past everybody, and we downed it at like the 12.
Oh, you get a punt.
But it was a line drive punt
Yeah.
straight through like 4 yards, like maybe 6 feet off the ground. It was great.
Oh my gosh.
It's
You
that's
get a
cold
kickoff
football,
in
ladies and gentlemen.
in that kind of weather and that kind of conditions, and it hits the ground, it's scooting. It's gone.
Yep. It's like ice. It's like hitting ice. Well, anyway, now that we've taken a memory trip down nostalgia lane, let's get into these matchups. So so Saturday, tomorrow, we've got some good playoff football. We've got the Browns and Texans, and we've got the Chiefs and the Dolphins. I think that's going to be some good ball games. You think the Browns win big?
I think Browns Texans is going to be one heck of a game. Actually,
that is going to be one heck of a game. I don't think they win big. I think it's going to be very close.
But here's the matchup problem in that game. CJ Stroud, the games that he has struggled in are against teams that play cover one.
Gotcha.
Cleveland, that's all they do. They play cover one.
It makes sense. Okay.
Browns win that big.
No, Flacco's playing like
I want Flacco to win.
Nobody's business. It's insane how Flacco comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden the Cleveland Browns look like they could win it all. It's like, wild.
I will say this:
they've had the best defense all year.
Yeah,
they have.
I respect DeMar Hamlin. I think it's very courageous that he is even mentioning football this year. But let's be real, Joe Flacco, comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
Because Hamlin's not even playing; he's standing on the damn sidelines.
Yeah,
I get the story of Hamlin's there. Like it's a great story, but come on, he is not the comeback player of the NFL. Sorry.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco was bagging groceries 6 months ago. Stop it.
At the Piggly Wiggly?
Just about. Yeah, at the Piggly Wiggly down on 7th Street. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Kurt Warner was working at Hy-Vee.
That's true. That's very true. Kansas City and Miami. And the storied matchups on this. So you got Tyreek Hill on Miami now. People say it's scripted, You got Kansas City and Miami in the playoffs. Miami's got to come to KC and play in a very cold game. Now, I will say this. The cold is not near as a factor as it was 20, 30 years ago because you have heaters, you got the heated blankets, but there's something about getting hit or hitting somebody in cold weather that it's different.
It sucks.
And I know that I think I can't remember that Miami's young coach's name. I can't remember his name.
Mike McDaniel.
But McDaniel. Said that they're going to find somewhere like a high school stadium and practice outside. That's fine. Practicing outside is going to be part of it, but you just can't. There's no way to prepare yourself for that kind of cold. KC due to Tim.
Welcome
look
back,
at Miami's
Seth.
record with Tim's. I was about to say, Seth, golly, man, you done dusted us off and threw us under your bed in a shoebox. I mean, dang, we ain't seen you in a minute, bud. Good to have you,
Welcome
man.
Back, sir.
Look at Miami's record with temps under 70. It's exactly right.
Yeah. Kansas City's better team
their
anyway.
record with temps under 70 is not good. So,
well, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys.
They're getting there.
I'm taking Miami.
If they can shed off the Taylor curse, you're taking Miami.
I'm 100% taking Miami.
KC needs help. Well, here's the problem. and I'll just say this: KC thought they could just do it with the guys they had, and didn't give a flying flip about receivers, and it has bit them in the tail this year. Because Travis Kelce can't do it by himself, and it's been proven. So,
yeah,
No, sir.
Seth
No,
says,
sir.
"Look, I've
No,
been
sir.
MIA. I've been on the burn, Vandy to the ground after not being able to get baseball season tickets. Sold out in 20 seconds.
Hey,
wow.
He brings up a good point.
Yes.
Man. Yeah,
You know what?
That's rough. That's rough.
I may be jumping the gun here, but hey, George, can you put me in the middle of the screen for a second?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Find out how to do that.
I mean, if you can, it's not a big deal.
No, I can. I got you. There you go. Go for it.
All right. So, as everybody knows, us at the Golden Boot Podcast, we started as a college baseball podcast, and we are getting back to that very, very soon.
Yep.
After we do basketball, and I'm assuming that it's going to be a mix until basketball season's over, but it'll obviously opening weekend of baseball, it'll be very heavily baseball talk, and then March it'll be a little bit of both,
right,
but mainly March Madness. That being said,
sure,
our goal in this podcast is to bring on some guests, and we behind the scenes we've worked very hard on securing guests, and we've already had some guests, as you've seen previously. We've had some say, yeah, we'll do it, and then unfortunately it has not worked out. But today, or actually yesterday, got confirmation that the number one incoming freshman, Cameron Johnson, left-handed pitcher at LSU, who was projected first round, should have went first round. Kid is a lefty that throws. He's hit 98 all this offseason. Like, he's going to be a big catalyst in the bullpen. He's committed to come on our show. And very excited about it. Huge fan of the kid. Very athletic. He's a stud. I cannot wait to just hear his story. He's already been on In Off the Bench podcast. I watched it. Great episode. Great kid.
Nice.
And I look forward to really just digging in. And the difference in our interview versus In Off the Benches is it'll be more after he's had, more time in the system and really gotten to grow more. And I really just want to, my main thing I want to talk to him about is, what's that mentality from a head coaching standpoint of what he faced in high school versus now? I mean, obviously he must have had great coaching growing up, because look at the position he was in, and then he decided to come to college. And I want to talk to him about what really influenced him to go ahead and come to college instead of going pro, because he could have easily gone pro and probably hit the majors within a few seasons because he got that kind of talent. But that leads me to say is he will be the interview that I want to be our crossover to baseball. I feel awesome. So the three of us will meet and we'll determine the date that we want to do where we're fully talking baseball. And that's when I want to try to get him on, which I know obviously with their practice schedule, we might have to record the interview ahead of time. But I'm just telling you guys, some big things are coming for this show very soon. And and I'm very, very excited to see what the future of the Golden Boot holds with this, because a lot of good things are on the horizon.
Absolutely. I'm excited about it too. That's big news. We need to pause just for a second because we do have breaking news. I want to break in here. So, according to a Washington Beat reporter, Josh Harris and Adam Peters interviewed Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh tonight and the Commanders are moving quickly to hire Harbaugh as their next coach, and a deal is expected. Thank you, Jameson from YouTube. That's very. I knew he was going to to NFL. I figured he would be out at Michigan, and so that is would.
Yeah, and the thing with him too, you got to think about is the fact that he was the top of the list for many NFL teams. I mean, because the Chargers and him, they had serious talks like that. was legit. The Raiders, he was the Raiders' #1 guy. Like that was already reported. So the fact that the Commanders are able to potentially get this deal locked down, that's huge. That will be great for that program. Now,
I'll tell you one team that didn't have him as #1 target.
Who that?
The Titans, who have set up interviews with 4 offensive coordinators and 1 defensive coordinator, and not a single head coach with experience.
George has a dropped foul ball.
Thanks. I do have a dropped foul ball. Thank you very much. Don't tell me I have nothing. I have a dropped foul ball in the national championship. Thank you. 100%.
To be fair, if we ever start talking track and field on this show, George can boast on us all.
Oh, I can. Absolutely. We will bulldoze you and take you out to the woodshed in track and field, sir. Okay? Our facilities are second to none.
So, Seth, let me ease your troubled mind about George. What George has is a loss in football in the most recent game to Vanderbilt. A loss in men's basketball in the most recent game to Vanderbilt. A loss to Vanderbilt in men's basketball in the most recent game played. And a loss to Vanderbilt in women's basketball in the most recent game played. All 4 major sports, all 4 losses to Arkansas.
Wait, are we going to say it? Does Arkansas have to call Vanderbilt daddy?
No.
Yes, sir.
No.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you think it affects me. It doesn't affect me because I don't care.
I got to get a microphone, guys, I think.
You do. You really
I mean,
do.
I have a microphone, and it's a very good microphone.
Yeah,
I mean,
it just doesn't work.
$100, but it just
you got to stop using your iPad. And then, maybe you'd be.
It's so convenient, though.
It's so convenient, but like it doesn't work when.
But it's StreamYard. To be fair, it is StreamYard that's the reason that all this is not working right. Because when I hook it up, and I'm like not on it on this software,
I
can record anything on this thing, no problem.
Meth heads in Arkansas real quick. Stop. What is? Why is it all? Why is everybody dumping on me tonight? That's
so
crap.
George. I do have a question. Why are you in Arkansas?
Why? Because I was born there, and I am. Listen, if you're from Arkansas, you're an Arkansas fan. Period.
No, I get that. I'm just saying, like, with all the moving you did growing up and all that, I just didn't know if maybe another team could have influenced you a little bit.
Never crossed my mind ever. Never, ever.
So your dad, an Arkansas fan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dad's an Arkansas fan. Dad's got all kinds of Arkansas gear. I mean, there's some transplants in Arkansas, but they're not. They're not really. No, it doesn't matter. Like, put it to you this way: if somebody is a sports fan in Arkansas, I guarantee their closet is made up mostly of Razorback gear, and most of it is about 10 years old because they are that loyal. If you go to Walmart and get like the cheapo Razorback stuff, because it's everywhere, I have about 6 different cheapo Razorback shirts in my drawer that are my favorite t-shirts. I have a Razorback polo. I just recently got a Razorback hoodie from my dad. He got one on Fanatics. Sent me one for Christmas. And then I've got puffy Razorback coat. I've got Razorback decal. I even have a Razorback license plate holder here on my wife's car. You know she's an Ole Miss fan.
Sarah.
Her car is the Ford, and she was very mad she had to take off her Ole Miss plate because you have to have 2 plates. So
say less. Arkansas and Ford, they go together. Like
it's on a GMC. No, it's on a GMC Acadia. And the license plate bracket that we had was mine, so it went on there, and it's on there.
Hey, speaking of Ole Miss,
I have a hog decal and everything else. So
I got to ask you a question about Ole Miss real quick. With Quinshon Judkins leaving and going to Ohio State, why does it Why did Travion Henderson announce that he's coming back?
I don't know.
Like, I don't get that.
I don't know.
When you have two
I don't
running
know.
back ones like that, I mean, I understand. Don't get me wrong. I get it. You can make a 2 running back system work. That is not an issue. But it's very, very strange when you have 2 guys of that veteran of a status.
Yeah. Thank you,
And
GQ.
honestly,
He's got loyalty, damn it. That's right. That's
I
right.
love it.
He ain't got.
I'd never asked you why you were an Arkansas fan. I had no idea.
Loyal.
Hey, JQ,
get out.
stop with the loyalty talk.
We're
talking 33 years of cheering for the worst football program in the SEC, and it's not even close.
That's not called loyalty. That's called dedication and torturing your own self. I don't know. That's
exactly, Seth. Exactly, sir.
Lord have mercy. That's true. You're right. You're right. GQ, me and you have something in common though. We are green and gold till we are dead and cold. All right.
There you go.
That's how that is.
So
anyway, back to what we were talking about. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to use this one comment by Seth right here to transition to another topic. But if you want to keep this one going.
Oh Lord. Well, yeah, I mean, we got to, I don't know what that other topic is. Quickly, let's run through these. So, Steelers at Buffalo, who do y'all have?
Man, the Steelers have been playing really good lately.
Cold weather game.
I just don't trust Buffalo. Give me the Steelers in an upset.
Yeah. Chris?
I'm taking the Steelers in an upset in the best snow game of the season because Josh is not going to be able to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Packers and Cowboys. It couldn't have even become more of a storybook deal there. The Packers play.
That's like America's
Green
game,
Bay.
Right?
Go play Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy being the former Green Bay Packers head coach. I'm just gonna say it. I don't care. I will stick my neck out there because if they lose, really, honestly, truly, they were not supposed to be here to begin with. This is our rebuild year, so I will be happy either way. But I'm picking Green Bay and Jordan Love for the upset.
I am so surprised. Nah,
you should not be surprised.
I get you on that one. I think the big key in that though is what does CeeDee Lamb do? Is Green Bay able to contain him? Well, he's just gone off lately.
They contained your boy from LSU at Minnesota.
Yeah, and that's saying a lot. It is.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, it's hard to pick against the Cowboys because they are a good team this year. But me having love for Green Bay, I want to see the Packers pull it out, man. I really do. And the fact that they play in the snow.
Yep.
Why not?
Well, Jordan Love, 2 weeks in a row, is the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. He went 316, 2 touchdowns, and 128 rating, 84% completion rating against the Chicago Bears, the Bears. It's just way over exceeded my expectations. Like,
oh, absolutely.
It's insane. And there's so many people on YouTube that are talking about, well, why isn't Jordan Love in the MVP conversation? And obviously, because, record matters. It's all, in the NFL as far as that goes. But man, oh man, has he had one heck of a starting season. So it is what it is. But I'm telling you now, if Green Bay wins in Dallas, not only will Dallas Cowboy fans, which being different, there's a ton of Cowboy fans in Arkansas. And boy, oh boy, they are going to absolutely, my Facebook feed is going to light up like a Christmas tree. Get rid of Mike McCarthy. Dak Prescott sucks. Why do we still have him? Blah, blah. And all of it. Every single reason you can think imaginable. is in across my feed. So, Chris, I'm sure you're picking the Cowboys. Who are you picking?
I just think the Cowboys are a better team. I've not been sold on Green Bay all year. They played in one of the weakest divisions in football with the Chicago Bears, granting them 2 wins. Stop it.
Play the Lions. Beat them in Thanksgiving.
Wait. Was that Chris or was that fake Tim Bailey?
Was that fake Tim Bailey?
No, that was not fake Tim Bailey.
Chris.
Okay, just making sure because Tim Bailey's a huge Cowboys fan.
Okay.
Oh man.
Here's what I think about the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys.
Hmm.
If they could play to a 0-0 tie and neither one of them move on, I wouldn't care.
Oh, he absolutely can't stand Green Bay. Can't stand him.
I love it.
I get it. He roots for. You know exactly who. Listen,
I have 2 teams.
He's a Vanderbilt fan. He's from Tennessee. Who the heck do you think he roots for in the NFL?
I have 2 teams.
Go ahead.
You want to talk about dedication? In 1980, when I was 12 years old, I started cheering for the New Orleans Saints. And why did I start cheering for them? Because of a guy named Rick Dempsey back in the 60s that kicked a 62-yard field goal with half a foot.
Oh, JQ, I love it, man.
God.
So I became a Saints fan in 1980. And the old church song, "When the Saints Go Marching In," that meant something to me. And when the Saints went marching in, I ain't gonna lie, I might have shed a little tear when we won that Super Bowl because it meant so much to me as a diehard Saints fan. But since the Titans are local, I do cheer for them.
Okay. Well, Well, I learned something new. I didn't know you were a Saints fan. Q says, "Show me on the doll where Green Bay hurt you."
That's a great
Saints fan from the days of Bum Phillips and George Rogers.
Yeah. Well, either way, it's going to be a good ball game. I can't wait. I really want them to upset, but hey, Dallas wins. They should. That's it. They should.
I am going to call an upset in another game.
Detroit and LA, which, oh, by the way, Green Bay won both of those against both of those teams. LA and Detroit. Detroit should win that ball game, but LA is playing really, really good football.
I think it's going to be an ugly win. I really do. I think Lions destroy them.
Rams in an upset.
Was it because the Saints won or because UT's gone?
because I know things.
Rams in an upset because you know things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Go ahead.
Detroit's offensive coordinator was in Nashville tonight interviewing for a job.
Oh.
Off the field, behind the scenes stuff going on with Detroit.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I'm picking LA for an upset. Because if you look at historically and on how Detroit plays in the playoffs, they'll choke. Somewhere down the line they're going to choke.
So JQ asked about the dome patrol. Obviously, if you know enough about the Saints to know about the dome patrol, what about the Benson Boogie, sir? The Benson Boogie.
All right, which game, George?
The Rams and Lions.
Oh, I got Lions ugly. It's gonna be beat down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't hear you. And then the weirdest game, in my opinion, for Monday, the Eagles and the Buccaneers, because the Eagles is in a 4 or 5 game skid. They haven't won a game. I'm gonna pull this up. If this is right, this might be the craziest thing
they've had the weirdest downfall.
Seen. So they have lost.
The field issues.
They have lost to the Cardinals. They have lost to the Seahawks. They have lost to the Giants. They have lost to the Giants again. And they have lost to the Cowboys. This 5
That's embarrassing.
losses in a row.
Hey, the
And
Cowboys lost. I give them that, but the rest,
they were the number 1 in the SEC, in the NFC for a while. Jalen Hurts was on fire, and then all of a sudden it crumbled, and it crumbled badly. The Arizona loss on the 31st of December is still a head scratcher for me, because Arizona is terrible. 5-game losing skid, and now you have to play in the wild card because you finished second in the East, in the NFC, against Tampa Bay. I don't even know how to pick that game. I don't know.
So
give me the fight.
Don't know.
So Seth is bringing up a good point.
What?
He's talking about A.J. Brown.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad the Titans don't have to deal with his bumbling idiot self right now, because he is.
Yeah.
There's another person by the name of Brown that he reminds me of.
Okay.
That's Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
He's a basket case. He's terrible for the locker room. But if you want to see what happened to the Philadelphia Eagles, there might be an image down here that you can share, George.
Oh, for God's sake.
Ooh.
He poo-pooed all over himself.
Yeah. Gross. That's disgusting, bro. That's disgusting. Nasty.
Hey, just a little bit off the topic, but did you guys announce the breaking transfer portal news?
No.
We
What?
have it to discuss.
Yeah,
Okay,
we have it already in here.
Okay.
A specific quarterback, right?
Yes. I'm just now.
Mhm.
What?
Yeah, we might as well talk about it now. Washington QB
Auburn
Will
bound.
Rogers enters the transfer portal. Chris
I say
thinks he's
follow
going to Auburn.
DeBoer. I say follow DeBoer.
I
Auburn
don't know.
bound.
I think he
I mean,
follows DeBoer.
So here's the thing, though. Does he fit that offense?
No.
I don't know.
So that's the thing. I
don't
think he
know.
wants to go to someone that he's going to be in an air raid. And I think
Mm-hmm.
DeBoer would open up a spot for him, because let's be real. I think Jalen Milroe is going to hit the portal because, like a lot of people have said, Milroe to DeBoer style, that's like oil and water.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no
Yeah,
hate to Milroe
and it's
whatsoever. Their style is just flat.
exactly 100%, and that plays into a little bit of conspiracy theory via somebody we know. Kenny. Sorry, I had to sneeze.
Now,
That Jalen Milroe and the offense are ticked off at this hire, and they're supposed to not show up for a team meeting tomorrow. So I
now
heard it here first. If it's true, then I don't know where this dude is getting his sources from, but
let's
shoot.
Let's give Mr. Kenny some love.
Oh,
Need some
absolutely.
love.
He's been on fire.
And-
Credit.
And let's call out some fake reporters out here.
Do it.
Because Kenny, our friend Kenny from College Football Dogs, absolutely 10 days ago
Nailed it.
called Cadillac Williams leaving Auburn. He
Yep.
posted it. It was all over the College Football Dogs feed that it was
Yep.
posted.
January
And any
4th.
any reporter that wants to take claim that they broke that story is false, because it was
Yep.
broke by Kenny Ingram from College Football Dogs.
Yes, it
That is
was.
true. Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah, Cadillac, he released a statement to the media, but let's be real. Kenny has a source, and he has probably the best source you could have on this topic. So,
Yes,
exactly.
so I give Kenny his level in this one. Much respect.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well-
and he called what's his name? Not going to Bama.
Ryan Williams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ryan Williams, and
Right.
he hit the not portal, but he decommitted.
But here's the thing. After seeing what DeBoer did with Roma Dunze,
Yeah.
does Ryan Williams change his mind and go back to Alabama?
Or does he wait out and see who everybody hires and then makes a totally different change? Because I mean, let's be real. While DeBoer is great, his offensive coordinator may be the head coach at Washington in the next day or so.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it all depends on a it all depends on how that all plays out. I mean,
like, I love college football. I love watching
Yeah.
the sport, but I love the postseason drama that happens like this. Like, and what are the odds that within like a 48-hour span that Nick Saban would retire, Bill Belichick would be done, and Pete Carroll would be done, all at the same time?
I know it.
Like, I mean, that's three of the most legendary coaches of our lifetimes.
Yep.
I mean, obviously Pete Carroll probably hadn't had as much of an influence on us because we're more East Coast and Southern. But let's be real, those early 2000s run at USC was one of the most. Well, I personally hated it with a passion because I wanted USC to lose every game. And it wasn't because I disliked them. It's just because, like, something about Pete Carroll's face. He had this expression that he makes, and I just hated it from like I was like, yes, but he's not. He's actually a very good dude. But he just came off as very arrogant, and it made me want them to lose. And when, like, I remember, like, Auburn played them, like, it was like 2004 or something like that. And that was the talk of the town, that game coming up. Everybody was so excited, and USC impressively beats them. But hey, transfer portal, hate NIL.
But wait. Seth.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt is number 8 in the transfer portal this year.
That's so
getting
crazy.
Dudes in.
That's so crazy too.
And if you look at the changes that he's made in the coaching staff, can we steal a couple of SEC wins next year?
Yeah, well, that remains to be seen. Seth, I've kind of given my take on this. I thought the NIL was a good idea. I agree that there should be a cap, but not really as far as like the amount that a person can make. That it doesn't matter. You can pay him $1 million for all I care. But what I say is that until you graduate or until you leave college to go to the NFL, you only get to access a portion of it. The rest of it sits in an account. It's yours, but that way you can't go crazy with it and go out and buy a $500,000 car or whatever. Your bills get taken care of. Your parents' bills get taken care of. You're set for the remainder of whatever you're in college. And you get that money, but you have to earn it. You have to earn it. Like, you don't get $6 million or $1.5 million for transferring from a program to be a star quarterback and just get it handed to you. Like,
I'm going to do Jock Hugh a favor. He says he hasn't seen Vanderbilt in the top 10 anywhere.
Yeah.
Right here, brother. Right here.
There it is. Yep. That's wild.
I mean, that's amazing. It is. So I have a thought on NIL, and it's something that I do want to ask some athletes in the future. But I think there is an advantage to NIL. So one thing that I always kind of hated, and not necessarily hated, but it was more of, I think there's something should have been done about it, was like these rookies going into the NFL, or these kids coming out of high school going to the major league draft or whatever, and getting these huge contracts at like 18 years old, or going to the NFL, getting them at 20, 21 years old. When you're that, just go back in your life to that age. If you got all that money, you probably blow it. So Tease Tabor, I need you guys to look up the video about him when he got his first signing bonus in the NFL and all that. Dude spent everything. Because after he paid his agent, he took a bunch of crazy vacations, bought a couple houses and cars, and I mean, he lost it all. And like, so I want to ask these kids that are getting NIL, hey, what kind of like money management stuff is happening here? Like, do you have an advisor? Are you taking maybe some kind of like advisory courses so you can learn how to better budget your money? Because let's be real, that's one thing in high school they don't teach you that they should, is how to budget your money. Because let's be real, if all of us could go back in time and have some kind of like budgeting class or something like that where we actually really learn how to properly budget, would we not be a little bit better in life right now?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. So I really hope that like that. I hope some of these, like especially these bigger schools, I hope that these big name coaches, like someone like, let's say Nick Saban, for example.
Yeah.
I feel like that he would have that kind of compassion, that he would want to do whatever it takes to make sure that his guys didn't get it in their head too much. Because So Tony Mitchell, 5-star defensive back mid Alabama that got arrested for weed in Georgia. He had like a ton of it in his car. Kid like that, did he get NIL money and he take it and buy drugs and try to flip it and make more money? Like, I want to see where bad stories like that don't come out anymore. And I want to hear these success stories. Like you hear like a so obviously I'm gonna go bias on this, but you go to LSU right now, Thatcher Hurd, the pitcher, he donates like all his NIL to like food banks and stuff. Tommy White does the same thing. Like a lot of these guys, they give back, and it's weird that it's baseball players doing it, but not really, I guess, in a way, considering how the whole scholarship thing works. But I just want to know, and I know like a lot of football players give back. I know that for sure, but I just want to know like how they're actually managing their money.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
Go ahead,
on
Chris.
that topic, there's 2 different proposals in Congress right now.
Okay.
One's a Booker and Blumenthal proposal. If you remember, Cory Booker played college football.
Yeah.
Did he?
And then you have the Tommy Tuberville proposal.
Ugh.
Now, both of them have good ideas in them. If we could combine them and take all the good out of both and make one, be perfect. The one that Booker and Blumenthal have actually sets up a 15-person committee consisting of current players, former players, current coaches, former coaches, and it also gives that committee subpoena power.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where a lot of people don't like it, is because of the subpoena power. But if you don't give them the subpoena power, they're powerless to do anything.
Okay.
Okay. Now you take that, you look at what Tuberville proposed. You have full disclosure. Every school has to disclose what every athlete is making. Each player that's getting NIL money has to have a financial advisor that is not connected to them in any way. It cannot be a friend. It cannot be a family member.
Smart.
There's good things in both of them. I think if they can combine the two and make one, I think that's where the answer is. And
I like it.
A seat at the table, a former coach, Nick Saban, to be the chairman of that committee.
See, I would be all for that.
Possible.
If Nick Saban would do that. The only problem with Booker and Tuberville having one, obviously, is they're on 2 different sides of the coin. So that probably causes some kind of head bump there. But it would be nice to see both sides work together and come up with something. That would actually be nice. That would just be nice to see.
Right.
It would be as epic as our guy Jelly Roll yesterday testifying in Congress. That was
I did watch that. I was very impressed.
That was awesome. And I know we got to get moving, but I wanted to bring this comment back up that Seth left earlier, if I can find it.
Which one?
Here it is. I got it. Ask if he wanted football. He said, "You can't pay me to watch Clark coach another game." Now, I got two ways to go on that. When you look at the staff changes it says that Clark Lee is making, I'm okay with him getting one more year. However, when they ask you if you wanted season tickets to football, I'm going to give you the response you should have given.
Oh,
no,
Lord.
But give me season tickets to our women's basketball team, because by God, those ladies deserve our support.
Yeah.
And with that,
there you go.
Let's talk about a little bit about women's college basketball.
Let's do it.
Well, yeah, because we've been in a really serious conversation. Hang on. Hold that thought just for a second, because let's take a real quick break to compose ourselves, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Hang on. We'll be right back on the Golden Boot Podcast.
Well, it all all comes down to this. The Michigan football team back in the national championship game with dreams of winning it all for the first time since 1997. Now, due to certain broadcast restrictions, we are not allowed to show any highlights from the game because the broadcast is still going on right now. However, since you're here with us, please enjoy my version of the highlights from the action tonight. So let's go to beautiful NRG Stadium for this matchup between the top-ranked Wolverines and the number 2 ranked Huskies. Great work on the field there by the grounds crew today. And the first quarter was a big one for Michigan. Donovan Edwards came into tonight with just 1 TD, busted out a 41-yard score to give the Wolverines the first points of the game, and he wasn't done. Still in the first, the defense just had no answer for Edwards, who scored again this time from 46 yards out, but Washington would get on the board in the final moments of the second quarter, and it would be 17-10 at the half. Then, on the first play of the third quarter, Michael Penix Jr. throws to the sideline, and he is picked off by Will Johnson. Check out head coach Jim Harbaugh with a big smile on his face as the Wolverines get another turnover on defense. And the teams would trade field goals, but then in the fourth, Blake Corum scores 2 touchdowns. Take a look at J.J. McCarthy right there pointing to where the ring is going to go. And that game is final. Michigan wins 34-13. Head coach Jim Harbaugh right there holding up the trophy as he finally brings home a national championship to his alma mater.
Did he get all that information from our live replay
I
reaction
have
show?
no idea. That was great.
I feel like if there was someone ever to draw out our reactions, that would have been it. That was
Oh my gosh, that was just fantastic. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Chris, you're going to talk some women's basketball. Go right ahead.
So this is pretty good. Vanderbilt's had some down years in women's basketball recently.
Yep.
But they fired Stephanie White and brought in Shay Ralph, who was Gino Ariema's number 1 assistant.
She walked into a crazy mess, Ty. Walked into a crazy mess. Welcome, buddy.
Shay Ralph is a former Final Four MVP. She's a former Player of the Year. She's won multiple natties as an assistant. Her first year, they had 7 players on the roster. It wasn't. It was a rough year. Her second year, we had 8 players on the roster. We lost 3 of them to season-ending injuries.
Oh God!
We have a full roster in 2023-24. Our women's basketball team is now sitting at 16-1, tied for the most wins in the NCAA. It's our first 3-0 start in the SEC since 2008-2009. It's our
amazing.
first. We beat Kentucky 95-73 last night. Our first win ever in Rupp Arena in program history.
Now I know how amazing that is, but I have a question. When are they going to start charging $1,000 for tickets like they do for Caitlin Clark in Iowa?
That's going to be a minute.
I watched the highlights of that one, and I saw how packed that arena was. Holy smokes, man!
See, Seth has got the. Oh no, we're Vanderbilt. We can't keep good things, but there's something to this. She doesn't want to be the person to follow Gino.
Yeah.
She doesn't. And her husband, Kevin DeMille, was previously an assistant at Vanderbilt under Melanie Balcom, and he is now an assistant again at Vanderbilt under her leadership. She's not going anywhere.
Yeah. And take a quick peek at. Go ahead, Chris. Finish up. Sorry.
I was going to show you the women's college basketball poll while we're on women's real quick.
Oh, is that? And I pulled up the wrong one. There you go.
Vanderbilt in the coaches poll at number 24. First time we've been ranked since 2016.
That's amazing.
Good things are happening. Good things are happening at Vanderbilt.
Good.
And, you know, I'm not delusional. We're not beating South Carolina. We're not beating LSU. But by God, this is a fun ride. Let me enjoy it. Damn it!
Absolutely.
Enjoy it.
And wait,
Enjoy
wait,
it.
and why not, Vandy? Why can't y'all beat everybody else? Why not?
I know, right?
Yeah.
So here's
The
the
only person
women's
besides
top
y'all lose is the
25.
team.
Yeah. South Carolina, number 1. UNLV rounds it out at 25 at the bottom. Vandy's sitting at 24. Women's is doing really well. Vanderbilt,
Yeah.
I love it.
And I'll share some
Here's a
quick
quick look
women's
at,
news. Let me get this women's news. It'll take 2 seconds.
Go for it. Yep, go
For
for it.
the first
Yep.
time ever, there was a Bud Light beer can released for women's basketball. They released a LSU commemorative beer for the women's basketball team, and that's never been done before.
That's right.
So Kim
I forgot about
Mulkey,
that.
she was telling the media, she's like, "Hey, go buy you one." And Van Lith, she was looking at her like, "Are you telling them all to get drunk?" And Coach Mulkey's like, "I've never had a sip of alcohol in my life. I'm gonna buy a lot of them. I'm gonna put them on my shelf because this has never been done before. This is great for women." And I agree, it really is. Big things like that. That's stuff that needs to happen.
Yeah, that's great.
I still
That's
say
great.
Iowa is going to be the team that knocks off South Carolina again this year because they still have no answer for Caitlin Clark.
Nobody really does.
Nobody
even when
will.
LSU beat them, Caitlin Clark was still great.
Caitlin Clark is an anomaly.
She's the best basketball player I've seen in my lifetime, women's wise, probably. Well, except for maybe Diana Taurasi.
Switching.
Taurasi was good.
Taurasi was really good. Switching gears to men's. This is a real quick snapshot of the top 25 as of January 8th.
This is going to change this week too because it's been a week in men's basketball.
It has been a week in men's basketball. Yes.
Kansas lost. Tennessee lost.
Yep.
Ugh.
There's a lot of shakeups here. But out of this list, who is your guys' surprise team to see on here?
Honestly, probably Colorado State.
I'd say Colorado State. Yeah. Ty, I agree. Listen. I don't know what's going on. I don't pretend to know what's going on.
You have no guards.
In Muss, we trust. That's all I can say because I don't know what he's thinking, what he's doing, or what.
You know what?
You have no guards.
Hey, at the end of the day,
the
no matter how this season goes, you guys beat Duke this year, and that was one of the coolest moments you will ever see as an Arkansas fan.
Yep.
So
that's the way that's how I hang my hat on it.
Absolutely.
I think we'll get better eventually. I don't know why it's taking them so long to figure it out, but it is what it is.
I like seeing Memphis back.
Yeah, Memphis back in it. Yeah, I'd say Colorado State's probably the surprise. So
who is that at 22?
22 is Creighton.
That's Creighton.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Honestly, what's funny is
right?
It is. I agree.
These
rough.
are like such just random schools on here. It feels like this is almost like a college baseball ranking.
Yeah, for real.
Hey,
people ain't even ready for that.
We might have one of them come February 1st.
That's BYU, right. Roll pumps roll, baby.
I just noticed BYU in basketball rankings is pretty wild as well. They've
always had a solid program now.
They really have.
They have. I'm glad to see them in the top 25.
They had?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Sean Bradley.
Yes.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting because we're just getting into the cusp of basketball, so we'll see.
Jimmer's awesome.
Yeah, but
now, there's one team that you won't see on here this year.
Arkansas. You gonna say that?
And if we don't fire our coach,
I'm
going to be highly angry.
Vanderbilt again. Take another shot.
Take a shot because I'm gonna call out Jerry Stackhouse needs to be fired until he does get fired.
God Almighty.
So here's my question, Chris, and this is a serious question here, but with the issues you're having with multiple coaches, do you think it's a coaching issue or is it an athletic department issue on hiring said coaches?
Yeah.
Well, here's the
thing.
Or
not meeting the coach's needs to improve the program.
Here's the thing. Our athletic director did not hire.
What?
AD did not hire our men's basketball coach.
I guess.
She's made 2 hires, and that's Clark Lee and Shay Ralph.
Well, one of those worked out.
Right. One of them did.
Clark making changes. You can't build it in one day.
No, that's
and
true.
I'm willing to give him another year with staff changes, which he's done, and bringing guys in the portal, which he's done for the first time. See what it looks like.
Well, all right. What's your minimum losses this year that you're okay with in football?
I mean, I expect to go 3-1 out of conference.
Okay.
Probably lose to Virginia Tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't expect to win an SEC game. I expect to be competitive, which is, I've said it many times. Losing 17-14 looks a whole lot different than losing 47-6.
Yeah.
So you got to be competitive. Given the landscape of what's going on in the transfer portal, can we beat a South Carolina? Maybe a Kentucky?
Possible.
Maybe a Florida? We'll see.
Well, we got to wrap this thing up. But, Chris, I want you to take us out by explaining what the heck this monstrosity is. And what is the prize for eating this nasty mess?
I want to know in the comments real quick. 7 pancakes covered in melted nacho cheese with a side of baked beans, and you have 4 minutes to eat it. Are you doing it?
So why did they pull charcoal out of the fire and throw it up there and make it into a pancake? What I want.
I'm not touching that. I wouldn't even eat one burnt pancake in 4 minutes.
So where is this?
Sorry, I don't know. I did just a random picture that I saw on Facebook today, and it said you have 4 minutes to eat it. If you fail, you have to pay full cost for your meal.
For real.
But you have to pay full cost for your meal, and you're escorted off the premises.
Yeah. Ugh.
But if you do eat it, you get half price off your meal.
I wonder how much that costs.
Yeah, I'm not paying 10 cents for it.
What's the prize?
That's the prize. You get half off your meal.
No.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, I'm calling my gastro doctor before eating it. Listen, I wouldn't touch this. I would literally throw it back at the cook and say, if you want me to eat 7 pancakes, cook them right. Don't pull them out of the furnace.
Burnt food and me, we don't really get along. So.
No.
Especially those ends right there. I feel like they just like break off and you start the whole time.
Right.
I mean, that's
break the tooth off on that.
But like, can't eat.
That is just disgusting. All right. Well, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we got to call it. It is 10:41, and we're out of ideas. We've talked about everything we need to. Tune in Monday. We'll know more about the playoffs and all that stuff. And my arteries are clogged just by looking at that. Yeah, for real.
Also, say, Tuss Talk, I love that logo.
Yes, logo's great. Ty, awesome.
Thanks for
if
joining.
You made that
us,
yourself.
Tusk.
Very, very good. Appreciate you coming in.
Let's tell Tusk we're on every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. and every Friday night
Central.
at 8:30 p.m. We'd love to have you join us as a regular. We are on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. We stream live on all of them. Love to have you. Like, share, and subscribe to all of our content.
And I am an Arkansas fan.
Thanks, guys.
I am an Arkansas fan. I just have nothing to talk about with Arkansas right now.
Hey, wait a minute. We'll be on a new platform coming Monday, right?
Unless we want to start talking about track and field, Anyway, go ahead. New platform? What platform are you on?
Restream.
Oh, yeah, we will.
We'll be streaming live from Restream on all of these rather than using StreamYard.
Yep.
What is PH?
Yep.
What is PH?
That'd be the hub.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
no,
We're not
on
streaming
Pornhub.
live on that. No. Well, I kind of figured Tuss talk with Ty. I cover the Hogs. Okay, well, good.
Well, hey,
me and you
Ty,
can have
love
some
to have you on
conversations because, please, if
Yes,
you
let's talk.
except the only story out of Arkansas right now is Devo Davis is absolutely lambasting a specific podcaster from the Woo Pig podcast because he was talking about Joseph Pinion jumping in the portal, or he needed to jump in the portal, and the whole team jumped on this man. I'm not going there. I don't want the whole team jumping on him. So that's awesome, man. Have credential for football.
Tusk.
That's all.
Cool.
Tusk, if you have Twitter, follow the Golden
Ty?
Media. What are we on Twitter? I done forgot. Golden Media something. Go ahead and follow us on there and shoot us a message, please.
It would be awesome if this was Ty from the radio. I'd be ecstatic. That'd be great. But that's awesome. I'm glad that you cover Hogs. We'll have to chat sometime. That being said, we do have to get off here. I appreciate it so much. I got kids to take care of. We all got stuff we got to take care of. I got to get ready for this impending ice storm we're gonna have. But I appreciate you guys joining in. This is the Golden Boot Podcast.
She's back.
Absolutely join. I know she's been watching the whole time. I appreciate you guys jumping in so much. It means a lot to us. We would not be able to do this without you guys. But tune in Monday night, 8:30 Central. We will be back on here. This is the Golden Boot Podcast. Stay golden, everybody. We will see you next time.